Hello, I'm Deepti Ganapathy, Assistant Professor at NMIMS University School of Business Management. Through this dynamic edition of the Academy of Management, Learning and Education, I take this opportunity to discuss my research connecting management theory and practice to address the widening gap between academics and practitioners. In this interview with Rachna Panda, Chief Communications Officer, GE South Asia, I seek inputs from industry practitioners like her to understand what we should do to engage, collaborate, and establish meaningful relationships between these two vital networks to extend our understanding of organizational knowledge transfer and exchange to make it practically relevant for the management education. Rachna, thank you for joining me in this interview. Rachna, at GE, you are part of the communications team championing and leading the communications function. You also head the brand, digital communications and advertising section. So you have been a part of nurturing the reputation of GE. How do you think we should address this widening gap? Because researchers and scholars have pointed out to this widening gap that is making business schools less relevant to practitioners. How do you think we can nurture and bring about students from management education so that they come out as thoughtful and insightful leaders when they join the industry?
Thank you. First of all, thank you, Deepti, to have me here. It's a pleasure to talk to academicians and students, and that's something which is very exciting, particularly for the industries. Coming to your question on closer integration between the industries and students or the academicians, I think communication as a function is very relevant to all aspects of business. When we are leading or when we are building young leaders, I think it's extremely important to make them understand that communication is one of the skills which actually defines the altitude or the success. Whether it is investor communication, whether it's, which is shareholders, whether it's connecting with customers, whether it's connecting with consumers, or within the organization, building a culture which actually, which eventually gets into the shareholder, market capitalization. All of this is the basis or the bedrock is communication. Hence, understanding what's happening in the industries, what's happening in the new age media, because technology is changing extremely fast. It is extremely critical for us to get business folks to come and talk to the students, academicians, give an access or exposure to these institutions or academicians to come over and see what's happening in the real world. That, I guess, is extremely critical. Otherwise, everything remains theoretical and in the books. But I think businesses are moving faster. They are moving extremely, I would say, extremely differently than what was happening earlier. When we talk about communication as a function, I would say this is one function which actually talks about the pulse in any organization, builds the culture of the organization. It is also external looking, which means that it communicates with all aspects of business and also the communities. I guess if we don't look at the function as a progressive and a very external looking function, I think then it becomes extremely theoretical.
Rachna, at GE, your role involves advising the leadership team on all aspects of communication. Today's millennials are quite aware of the new trends and practices. So how do global conglomerates like yours try to actually try to focus on what these millennials want and how you can reach out to them? So how do you go about this?
I think we're very fortunate that millennials themselves are very savvy in communications. They are smarter, they are more real time, they are more innovative, and they're more experimental, which means that they can be reverse mentors to us. That's how I take it. But in terms of understanding the industries, one, of course, is to be more connected, get to hear from the industry leaders. There are business schools which actually do case studies where the industry veterans sit in the room, go through the case studies, and then participate with these millennials or with the students, which is fantastic, and that's a great way to actually connect up with with these millennials. Second, in GE we have 20,000 employees, we have 21 manufacturing units, we have very diverse businesses, which means the age group or the demography of employees are very, very different. The age groups are different, the skills are different, the expertise is different, and the interests are different. That's where I guess we have different communication methods for all tactics or platforms, and the most active are the millennials. So there is a town hall or a face-to-face, there would be Slido, which is very open, candid way of communicating, which millennials love. Then we do a lot of stuff on social media, and millennials love social media. In fact, I have a reverse mentor who teaches me, on social media. So, I mean, that's about social media and different aspects of these. Plus, we have campaigns which are designed by these millennials, which means that they know best what works for them, whether it's through gamification, whether it's through connecting up and having a few people just leading the discussion.
Yeah, and I think that's why the GE voices have been so effective in bolstering this, because culture plays such an important role in setting the tone for an organization's communication function, and that's what GE has been effective in doing so. Management education can glean interesting insights from GE's culture and its innovation. And I think that's what we have tried to do in this interview by trying to bridge this gap and to make management education and create a knowledge base here really for management education to make the students industry ready for practitioners. Thank you so much, Rachna, for joining me in this interview.
Thank you for getting me here. Thanks.
Thank you.